it's gonna be. You know how I played it all. That nigga burn it deep. All by this bread. Bitch, I'm all up by my bread. All by my bread. Bitch, I'm all up by my bread. All by my bread. Now what's it gonna be? You know how I played it all. That nigga burn it deep. All by this bread. Now bitch, I'm all up by my bread. All by my bread. Now bitch, I'm all up by my bread. All by my bread. Now bitch, I'm first thing ballin', trying to get my bread long. You know the game gone and my mind been blown. Different decision that I done made got me fucked up now. Still gon' thug the life I'm living, still gon' hold this shit down. Every day of my life, yeah, nigga chasing cheese. And I'm saying niggas that be around there won't see all your feet. My mama been doing bad, but I ain't going into that. I done picked that girl up when I caught my first package. I be paying. Me and my people hurting for something for a day. That shit happened, the next man ain't getting nothing. Fade to the root of evil, and that's my damn best friend. I put that on my life, ain't nobody gon' fuck with him. You try to jam it, yeah, that ass getting chopped. Trying to serve, ain't got no business on my block, I bet you're getting chopped. Now either way you try to fuck with my pocket, don't believe that ass getting chopped. Now what's it gonna be? You know how I played it all. That nigga burn it deep. All by this bread. Bitch, I'm all up by my bread. All by my bread. Bitch, I'm all up by my bread. All by my bread. Now what's it gonna be? You know how I played it all. That nigga burn it deep. All by this bread. Now bitch, I'm all up by my bread. All by my bread. Now bitch, I'm all up by my bread. All by my bread. Now bitch, I'm back in the mix. Some flaky niggas better stand down. Came home, got me some yam, I'm the man now. Niggas, some bitches off from.
Welcome back to your favorite channel. It's your boy K9s, giving it to you the way I always do, fair and unbiased, raw and uncut. I hope everybody had a great Memorial Day, man. Having a great Memorial Day. Had a safe Memorial Day. You know, we about to talk about these dogs tonight. You know, we're going to talk about them Tant's dogs. We're going to talk about them Boudreaux dogs, a few of them Boudreaux dogs. And like I always say, we're going to touch some pedigrees and just talk about a few things when it comes to this dog community, you know. You know what I'm saying? Come on up in here. Come on up in here, man. We're going to start it off by talking about the Tant dogs, you know. We're going to start it off talking about Tant's toe jam. And I want to go to the offspring. And I just want to look at how some of these bloodlines are put together. And just things like that, man. That way, brothers maybe doing their breedings in the future with some of these dogs that's bred this way. They'll know how to, you know, they'll see, know at least a blueprint on how it was done back in the days. You know, so let's get up in here, man, and look at some of these dogs when it comes to the Tant's dogs. And we, like I said, we're starting off with the Tant toe jam. You know, I want to say this though. I want to say this before I get deep into this Tant toe jam. You know, I seen one brother posting about how Tant kind of shit people back in the days. You know, and I see a lot of the comments up under his post, you know, talking negative about what that brother has said, you know. And this is the thing, man, when it comes to these dogs. A lot of y'all just don't want to accept what was given to you. You know, a lot of y'all don't want to accept how you was dead. And that's a big problem we got. You know, you don't want to accept you've been shitted. You don't want to accept that you've been bamboozled. You don't want to accept that you wasn't tied in as tight as you thought you was tied in, you know, when it comes to these dogs. A lot of y'all don't want to accept that, man. But at the end of the day, you know, what the brother said, it was no wrong in it. You know, and that's another thing. A lot of y'all got these Tant dogs in your pedigrees, and then you get mad when people tell you stuff like this because you've been banking on that Tant. You've been banking on that Tant. But this is the deal. If you got there should have been no sons of Grand Champion Yellow left still living when Tant got busted with his dogs the last time. You know, in order for you to have a son of Grand Champion Yellow living when Tant got busted with his dogs in 2004, he would have been 14, 15 years old. You know, he would have been old. Not saying that he couldn't have been 15 years old and still making puppies. What's the chances on that happening? You know, what's the chances on that really being what you got? So that's why we talk about this bootleg shit when it comes to Tant dogs, you know, because he did do a lot of strange things when it came to that Grand Champion Yellow dog. Whether you want to believe it or not, it is what it is, man, when it comes to Grand Champion Yellow. You know, a lot of people got fake stuff. People was telling me about how they got blue dogs off of Grand Champion. Listen, it's two dogs in a breeding. It's a male and a female. You know, it's males and it's females. And I say this now, and I said this before, I may have to say it in the future. If you got a top and bottom Grand Champion Yellow bred dog, there was no reason for you to get Rottweiler color dogs, what we call the tri-dogs or the black and brown pit bulls. It was no reason for you to get them colors. It was no reason for you to get any blue dogs, you know, any colors outside of your typical Red Boy Jocko color. If you had top and bottom Red Boy Jocko yellow dogs, you know, bred from David Tant yard. Now, we had a brother that came up and gave us some good story when it came to David Tant. The only story when it came to David Tant. You know, brother said he had bobtail dogs from David Tant. Black bobtail dogs at that from David Tant. And you want to tell me these dogs are top and bottom yellow dogs? Now I can't knock any of y'all brothers saying you didn't have a hellified bobtail black dog that he was supposed to come off of yellow, but he was hellified when you got him where you got him at. I can't say that you lying, because you probably did have a hellified dog. No matter what color it was, he probably was hellified when you got him back where you got him from. But that don't take away from what we talking about when we say that they're not off Grand Champion Yellow. They may be on one of Yellow's sons, bred to something else. But what that brother was saying wasn't no lie. You know, what the comments was more of lies than what that brother was saying when it came to the dogs and what he was speaking about David Tant. David Tant shit a lot of people. David Tant made you think he was down with you, but he was playing you the whole time. You know, yeah, he did all that. He did it, man. So what we gonna do though, and like I said, if your dog off of Grand Champion Yellow wasn't born before 1992 on back, then he off something else. It don't mean he not. Let me say this as well. Just because he's off something else, don't mean he's not pure Grand Champion Yellow blood. Because he could be off one of Yellow Suns on the top and yellow stuff on the bottom. And he'd still be a pure yellow dog. But it just means he's not off the dog Grand Champion Yellow. That's all that means, man. You don't have to go and criticizing the brothers and saying, oh, you sound like a jackass and this. When it happened, it was true. You see, in today's time, we found out that a lot of old school bulldogs been bullshitting when it comes to these dogs. On down from Boudreaux to Pat Patrick, Tom Garner, you know. I mean, we ain't got to have no certain dog that we going to say about Tom Garner. Why would you even start a registry? Why can't some of your dogs be registered with the ADBA? You would have had no reason to start a registry if all your dogs were the way you say they were. You see? There's a lot of old schoolers. It's not just them, from Mr. Boudreaux, like I say, with Blind Billy, to a lot of brothers, you know, that they done said did the foolery when it comes to these dogs. And after I talked to Mr. Buffalo Soldier, and he was telling me about Mr. Jim Wilson, y'all better not forget the name Mr. Jim Wilson, bulldogger from Mississippi that moved up to Chicago, you know, way back in the days before all of us was born. Had bulldogs back in the 40s and the 50s. Don't forget that name, running with Mr. Carfino, Mr. Jim Wilson. And they all did that to Mr. Jim Wilson dogs. You know what I'm saying? We can say, oh, this dog off this or this dog off that, or we know Tant did this. What about Mr. Jim Wilson dogs that he gave Mayfield, that he gave Pat Patrick? We ain't talking about the Bolio, we talking about Mr. Jim dogs. What about all them? With Mr. Jim name ain't nowhere around. You see the pit bull community? Let me say this. Let me take this toe jam off the screen so y'all can see me real clear for a minute. Real clear for a minute. See my eyes. You see this pit bull community? He likes to remove names and add names. That's one thing I noticed that this pit bull community likes. To remove names and add names. So man, let's just get into this dog talk. You know, big salute to the brothers out there that give their information when it comes to the dogs. You know, somebody got to do it. You know what I'm saying? Somebody got to do it. Now, let's get to talking about this toe jam stuff, this yellow stuff, and we're going to talk about other offspring off of Grand Champion Yellow as well. We just want to look at how they bred, you know, and talk about the offspring and how they're throwing and the things they throw, you know. When it comes to toe jam, great looking dog, I think, in my opinion, toe jam produced better dogs when it comes to your Grand Champion Yellow dogs than Big John did, you know. And I'm talking about from the source, toe jam when he was around. I'm not talking about you pull out your toe jam dog now and they're better than Big John dogs. I'm not talking about that. We're talking about 30 years of breeding that done happened since then. When I'm going back to the 90s to talk about toe jam, you know. When this dog was living, and Mike Caton had this dog. It says Tant's toe jam, but Tant didn't own this dog. Mike Caton owned this dog. Mike Caton was Crossroads' partner, Crossroad Kennels' partner. See, Mike did the breeding. Mike had all the yellow dogs. Mike did the breeding, and Crossroad did the selling and the advertising and the rolling and all that type of stuff. You see, Crossroad put the dogs out there, but Mike the one that did the breeding. All right, now that we know that, toe jam, a son of Grand Champion Yellow. Some brothers, you know, some brothers were trying to say that toe jam was off AAA instead of being off Grand Champion Yellow. I don't know how true that is. All I know about toe jam is he produced more yellow-like dogs, and I ain't talking about the color. I'm talking about the way the dogs work. He produced more yellow-like dogs than what Big John was producing. Big John dogs looked at more like the Burn stuff, the Yellow John dogs, you know, maybe the Red Boy dogs. But toe jam offspring looked at more like the yellow dogs. They were lay down dogs. He produced a high percentage of lay down dogs, you know. So as we look at this pedigree here and see who toe jam is coming down off of. All right, we see Grand Champion Yellow bred to Tant's Lola. Tant's Lola is a daughter of Grand Champion Yellow. Grand Champion Yellow bred to a daughter of Mr. Bulldog, which was a Red Boy dog. Grand Champion Yellow bred to a Red Boy dog, which was Tant's Penny, because she's coming off Marlowe's Bulldog and Marlowe's Brandy Girl. That's a Red Boy dog bred to Grand Champion Yellow. And you got Tant's Lola. Tant's Lola bred back to Grand Champion Yellow again to get toe jam. Hellified producing dog right here. One of the best producing dogs off Grand Champion Yellow, I will say. And listen to me carefully. I didn't say the best producing dog off Grand Champion Yellow. I say one of the best producing dogs off Grand Champion Yellow. Toe jam. Now this is Sambo's granddaddy. Toe jam is Champion Fatty's daddy, along with many other ones' father that came down off that stuff. Okay. Now let me see if I can pull up the offspring of Toe Jam. Stroll to some of the dogs I know and I'm familiar with. Whether I'm familiar with them or not, we're going to look and see how they bred and see how Crossroad had them bred up. Because Crossroad was making some great breedings when it comes to this dog, Toe Jam. He was breeding into different things, you know, different things. Now, let's go to Champion Fatty, which would be Sambo's daddy. Champion Fatty, you know, it got him down as owned by Team Georgia, and that's after Crossroad got out the game. After Crossroad got out the game, and he sold all his dogs, you know, other people took ownership of the dog. But that's him right there. And we checked this pedigree one time before. We seen that he was coming down off Lori's Jaguar, which is a pure Jeep bitch. Pure Jeep bitch. This is Sambo's grandmother. Sambo's grandma. This is Sambo's grandmother on both sides, the top and the bottom side. His mama was off this dog, and his daddy was off this dog. Now, when you look at Jaguars percentages, they got her down for 62% Jeep blood, 62.5% Jeep blood, 50% honey bunch. She's a 50% honey bunch, dog. A 50% WCC's Sandy, which I think is Windy City Combine, Sandy. 37% Finley Bow, and 25% Bully Son. You know, Hellified Dog. This is Champion. Well, this is Jaguar. We're gonna go back. We on Toe Jam pedigree. Hey, you know what I want to look up real quick? I want to look up the bloodline calculator for Sambo. Crossroads Fatty. Crossroads Sadie. Calculate. We got it on 6th generation pair. Okay. Now, on the COI gauge, they got 27.2% danger zone. The danger zone is anything after, really the danger zone is anything after, in between that 5 and, or after that 5, really, you start getting to the danger zone. Coefficient of inbreeding, 27.16%. Shared ancestors, 48 shared ancestors in this particular breeding here. Now this is what I want to look at right here. When you go down to shared ancestors, and this is Sambo's pedigree, we're looking at. Shared ancestors, Jeep, 6 times. Crenshaw's Honey Bunch, 10 times. So Boulder had more Honey Bunch blood in them than Jeep. The way I'm reading it right here. WCC's Rocky, but then Bo got more Red Boy in him than Jeep and Honey Bunch. 15 times Red Boy, 10 times Bully Son, and 10 times Carver Amber. 11 times Tills Jeff. And we're getting further and further down as we go along. 40 shared ancestors, with Red Boy being the highest out of all of them. As far as his numbers, they got 15 times right here. And when you look at the bloodline radar, it's got Jeep and Red Boy 56.3%, with Honey Bunch following at 25.8%. Okay. Like I said, this is Sambo's pedigree. Now, let me calculate Sambo's daddy and see what he has in him. Champion Fatty. So I'm gonna put Crossroads Toe Jam. And Crossroads Jaguar. It's got it as a clean out cross on this. Right here, they got it on the COI gauge. They got a clean out cross. That's what they got it registered as. Top COI contributor, Tills Jake, 3 times right here. Shared ancestors, 2. 2 shared ancestors. And this is Champion Fatty's pedigree we're looking at here. 2 shared ancestors, which is Tills Jake and Mayfield's Lightning 2. Now Mayfield's Lightning is a dog that you see in the Big John stuff. Mayfield's Lightning. Now on Fatty pedigree is 56.3, which is the same thing when it comes to Sambo with the Jeep Red Boy, 56.3. Just with Sambo, the Tant Yellow wasn't up there. It was Honey Bunch after the Jeep Red Boy. You had your Honey Bunch, 25% after your 56.3%. But on this, on Champion Fatty, you got 37.5%. So let's look up Tant's Grand Champion Yellow. Offspring, and look up some more of that yellow offspring. Now, this picture right here, this is not Grand Champion Yellow. You know, I don't know who put this picture up here, but this is not Grand Champion Yellow right here. This dog don't have a black muzzle. This dog is a brown color or a buckskin dog with a black nose. That's the wrong picture. Whoever did this. Let's check out Clambar's Miss Yellow. Clambar Boys Miss Yellow is a daughter of Grand Champion Yellow, bred the Hardcore's Breaker Rum. And Breaker Rum is a daughter of Jeep, bred to a daughter of Rascal. So that's a Jeep Rascal. Hardcore's Breaker Rum is your Jeep Rascal dog, bred to Grand Champion Yellow. So that's going to be your Red Boy Jocko Jeep Rascal, is what this bitch is. Now, when you go down, slide down to your percentages, you got 50% Grand Champion Yellow, 50% Breaker, which we understand. You got 25% Yellow John Blood and 25% Miss Jocko, 25% Shady Hills Jeep, 25% Shady Hills Winona, 21% Red Boy, and 18% Jocko, followed by 12% Tills Jeff, and 12% Marlowe's Feather and Lady Rose. You know, good looking bitch. And that's Clambar Boys Miss Yellow. And I'm gonna check some of my old dogs out as well. Let me check Pelican Bay's Miss Yellow. Show y'all Pelican Bay's Miss Yellow. And we'll check out Miss Jocko next. Miss Yellow. Okay. That's Miss Yellow right there. Now, when I had that bitch, I was gonna breed her back to Nitro, which was my crazy eyes Shakur male. I was gonna breed her back to Nitro, and I had her during the same time that I had Pelican Bay Snake Eyes that I told y'all about, and Nitro. You know, and I had a few more males that I'm gonna show you as well that I had during the same time. But this is Miss Yellow. Now, when you go to Miss Yellow's pedigree, she's coming down off BPK's Cooper, which is a son of Southern Styles Yellow 2, and WR Midget, which is a daughter of 305 Boys D-Day. Let's check out the Cooper dog. Okay, they don't got that up there for some reason. Let me go back and try that again. We'll check out Miss Jocko next. All right. So we see on the top side, we Grand Champion Yellow. All through the whole pedigree on the top side, Grand Champion Yellow. If you go all the way back to the 4th generation, you see Yellow John, which is Yellow's father. You see Red Devil, which is fathered by Grand Champion Yellow. Red Devil bred the Tant's Princess 3. Princess 3 was a daughter of Grand Champion Yellow, bred the Tant's Princess. So this BPK Cooper dog is heavy as you can get. Grand Champion Yellow, bred to more Grand Champion Yellow on the bottom, but it's coming through Mayday. And then you also see your Toe Jam at the very bottom of the 4th generation. You see your Toe Jam in there, which is a son of Yellow. You got another son of Yellow with the Mayday right here. And then you got the daughter of Yellow, which is Dragon Lady. You see Yellow in the 4th generation. And let's check out Crossroads Black Girl and see what she has in her. All right, when we look at Black Girl pedigree, she's coming down off of Crenshaw's Charlie on the top side, and Super Nance Guest, 2-time winner on the bottom side, Super Nance Rosie, which is a daughter of Crenshaw's Charlie. And Super Nance Angus is the father of Super Nance Guest. And you see some Zebo in the background back there. In 4th generation, you see some Zebo. You see Zebo 2 times in the 4th generation of this Crossroads Black Girl dog, which is on the bottom of the 4th generation of Pelican Bay's Miss Yellow. Zebo right there. And you see Zebo right here. Bully Son, Honey Bunch, you got your Mo Bully Son. And actually, you got Zebo in the 3rd generation of that bitch pedigree. Zebo in the 3rd generation. Zebo is the father of Steps Miss Willie. So apparently this bitch was black. Crossroads Black Girl, she was a black dog. They bred at Toe Jam. They got 305 boys, Ruby Tuesday. And they bred that back to a Mayday male to get the 305 boys Kennel Pie. 305 boys Kennels Pie. I guess that's a name, Pie. Okay. And like I said, we looking at Pelican Bay's Miss Yellow. Now let me pull up Miss Jocko. Miss Jocko. All right. I had her during the same time I had Miss Yellow. She's off Robinson Stone Red, who himself is off of Chavis Ho and Robinson's June. June is off Angel's Best of Apache. The Chavis Ho dog is off of Chavis Bear and Chavis Diana. Chavis Ironside and Chavis Grandma is the parents to Chavis Bear dog. And on the bottom side, it was Robinson Stone Red bred to a Walkamaw bitch. Walkamaw bred bitch. Jesse's Katana, which is off Big John and Little Babe. So Big John daughter bred to Robinson Stone Red to give you Pelican Bay's Miss Jocko. Now, if you go to Miss Jocko offspring, you'll see this dog right here, Pelican Bay's Gracie. And that's the dog that I told you his pedigree was better than he was. He was okay. He was okay, but he wasn't a top tier dog. I'm gonna put it like that. He wasn't top tier, you know. He was off of Diablo Jr., bred to that Miss Jocko dog. So that would have been about 75% Walkamaw and about 25% of your Robinson Stone Red and your Chavis Holt stuff and your Robinson dogs in the background. And the reason I'm not real fond of this dog right here, Gracie, that you're looking at right now, the reason I'm not fond of him is because of the fact he would chase your legs when you flirt pole him. When I flirt pole him, he would if I get too close to my legs, he would kind of jump out there at my legs and stuff like that. I don't like that in a dog, you know. And the real reason I wasn't fond of him is because I picked him up one time on an OTC. You know, I picked him up on an OTC. I went to mess around with my homeboys, and he didn't do good as I thought he would have did against a dog that he should have conquered. You know, he should have conquered the dog, but he didn't do that good. Now, if you look at this dog real good, if you look at him real good, you'll see his back leg is cowhocked. He got a cowhock in his back leg, you know. And I don't like that in no dog. But that has nothing to do with why he let a dog that he should have dominated handle him that way, you know. And like I said, it was OTC, and he was still going, he was still scratching. I just didn't like what I was seeing, so I picked him up, you know. Now let's go back to Grand Champion Yellow. Matter of fact, I just seen something. Let me check something real quick. Is this that punk dog? Is this that punk dog right here? Is that the punk dog? Nope. That's the punk dog right there. Let's see how punk supposed to be bred. Good looking dog. He's off Tant's AAA, bred to Tant's Casey. Now, I went into a dog that was coming down off of Tant's Casey and made a Mayday dog bred to the Tant's Casey stuff. I went into know some of that stuff before. Matter of fact, that bitch that I told you about that I had, Pelican Bay's Olivia, she destroyed that dog sister, same breeding. The male dog that was off of Casey, the Mayday stuff bred to Casey, was, you know, a better dog than the female, because the female, she got destroyed by Pelican Bay's Olivia, coming down off this Tant's Casey dog. Let me see if I can find that dog real quick. Tant's Casey is a red boy Jocko dog through and through. The dog was coming down off some muddy water stuff. Some of that muddy water stuff. I don't see it up here. Like I said, this is a fairly new website, so some of the dogs may not be up here, may not ever be up here. It just depends on how brothers registering the dogs up. But we back on that punk. This is the punk dog as well. They got him down as a 12-time OTC, 7-time winner. Now I'm wondering, is that 7 official and 12 off the chain that he won? That'll equal up to 19? Or is it got to be 12 off the chain and plus 7 officials. It got to be 12 off the chain and 7 officials then. 19. Yeah. Now let me go to another Tant yellow, because this ain't the right Tant yellow. See what the offspring of this dog look like. Yeah, they don't got number 4 offspring on here. Let me see if I can pull up Grand Champion Yellow by himself. Tant yellow, yellow. Let's check out this yellow buck dog right here. Stone City's yellow buck. I like how this dog look. Coming down off STP Buck and a daughter of Grand Champion Yellow. Not pulling up his offspring for some reason. Yeah, not pulling up his offspring. But that's a red boy Jocko Bolio dog. Through the buck side. Let me see if I can pull this dog up again. Nothing came up. Okay. Let's go up on the bloodline calculator. I want to check out some Boudreaux dogs real quick as well. Check out Boudreaux Scrub Bread or Boudreaux's Candy. .62% in the danger zone. Shared ancestors 29. Coefficient of inbreeding 62.28%. Shared ancestors 29, which would be Blind Billy with times 5. Heinzel's Bambi with times 15 or 15 times. Tudor's Dabo 6 times. Tudor's Mini 5 and Hubbard's Bounce 10. Richardson's Spike got it down 12 times. Hubbard's Gip 16. Richardson's Spotty got it down 12. Heinzel's Arizona Pete, that's Dabo's brother, right? Got him down as 5. Let me pull up Boudreaux Eli. Scrub and Candy. That was Boudreaux Eli I was looking up just now. I just want to look at the pedigree real quick. Look at some of his offspring and check the offspring out. So would it be fair to say that Bully Son is Eli's most famous offspring? The Bully Son dog? Is the most famous offspring coming down off Eli? Everybody wanted some of this blood, Bully Son blood. Everybody wanted some Bully Son blood when you look at the old schoolers and how they was breeding and the dogs they bred up. Everybody wanted some Bully Son blood. There's only a 2-time winner and a 1-time loser. Do you think a dog like that in modern day time would survive to where people want to breed to him, where people speak so highly on him? People speak highly on Bully Son like he's a 15-time winner. Oh, this is a pure Bully Son dog. This heavy Bully Son. This Bully Son. This Bully Son. When he only barely broke 500 on the win loss ratio, 2-time winner, 1-time loser. In three rows, he had lost one match, just out of 3. Eli and Spook. And what kind of dog would you call Bully Son? If you gotta name him out something, you can't really say he's an Eli dog. You know, how can you call Bully Son an Eli dog? He's a dog. I mean, he can be an Eli dog because he's coming directly off Eli, which give him 50%, give you 50% Eli in him. You can say he's Eli like that. But as far as him having a whole lot of Eli blood in him, other than being the son of Eli, I guess that 50% is all you need, you know, to be considered an Eli dog. Because the rest of these dogs on the bottom side aren't coming off Eli. You know, if you're looking at his pedigree and calling him how his pedigree is, you say he's a scrub dog or a blind Billy dog. You know what Bully Son is? A blind Billy dog. Or a Tudor's Dabo dog. Heavy Tudor's Dabo. Now, I always hear brothers talk about this dog right here, Boudreaux's T-Bell. Look at T-Bell, man. T-Bell's pedigree. Bully son. On the top side, which is your Eli stuff. So he's a bully son on the top side, T-Bell, with your Blind Billy on the bottom, along with some Crenshaw dogs, and Tudor Spike on the very bottom. Long's Tuffy. But this is the dog I want to look at. Davis Champion Midnight Cowboy. Bully son on the top. Hunter Sam Carver on the bottom. Long's Baby. Crenshaw's Reno. Tudor Spike. Pretty much, this Midnight Cowboy dog is just like the dog T-Bell we just looked at. Same pedigree as the dog T-Bell. Let me make sure before I say that they got the same. They might be little mates. No, he's coming off Long's Tuffy. But Long's Tuffy and the baby dog might be little mates. Because you see the same exact setup back here with Blind Billy right here in the 4th generation. Tudor Spike on the bottom right here. Crenshaw's Sad Sack. So when you go to Midnight Cowboy, Long's Baby, instead of Long's Tuffy, still got Sad Sack right there in the same place, Tudor Spike. So Long's Baby and Long's Tuffy must have been little mates. This is Midnight Cowboy. Now let's go to his offspring. Go to Grand Champion Riddick's Herman. I like how that dog there look. I like that look of that dog. So your Midnight Cowboy on the top. Boudreaux Scrub, Boudreaux Scrub, Boudreaux Scrub, Boudreaux's Ox on the very bottom of the 4th generation, which is coming down off the scrub stuff. Blind Billy, Blind Billy. So this dog right here is Riddick's Herman. Is from top to bottom. When you go into the further generations, you go back from top to bottom, this dog has got Blind Billy in it. From the top to the bottom. You got to have a female. Let's just click on the Crenshaw's Reno dog to see what that is. Let's go back. Too many requests, it's saying. It's Midnight Cowboy right here. Midnight Cowboy we're looking at. The Herman dog we was looking at. Okay. We back to Herman. Let me remove the banner. Okay, the banner wasn't hurting that. So that's heavy Boudreaux, heavy Blind Billy. And that's where we get our Maverick dog from. The Herman dog. Where we get our Maverick dog from. Now we go to Maverick. Great looking dog right here. Salute all my Eli brothers out there, man. All my Eli brothers taking care and breeding them great Eli dogs across the world. Now as we check Maverick out, Riddick's Herman on top. Kimmer dog on the bottom, Macho, which is Boudreaux's Liza. Bully Son. Then we got that Long's Tuffy dog at the very bottom of the third, going into the fourth, which will give us our same stuff that we was looking at from the start. So we see Bully Son in 3 different spots of the 3rd generation of this dog, Maverick. We see Eli in 3 different spots of this dog in the 4th generation. So my question to y'all Eli brothers out there real quick. What happened to where, or why don't y'all do the inbreeding as much as Mr. Boudreaux did? See, Mr. Boudreaux inbred and line bred his Eli stuff. A lot of y'all breed and you go out the other lines. But, you know, if you follow success and follow the blueprint of success the way the old schoolers did it, not saying that you gotta follow them because you do your own thing and you got your own game plan. But the people who had this particular line of dogs, and if they was getting success from it, like Midnight Cowboy, like the Herman dog, you got Bully Son, which was a hellified producer. Okay, let's just stroll down from Eli. Eli was a 2-time winner. Okay, many would say he was a great dog that produced Bully Son, which, in my opinion, Bully Son was a better dog than Eli as far as his production wise. You know, now Bully Son produced Midnight Cowboy, which was a champion. Now, if you're looking at this actual chart right here, it seems like the dogs are producing better and better as the years go along. You got Eli from a 2-timer, Bully Son a 2-timer and a 1-time loss. You got champion Midnight Cowboy, and you got grand champion Herman. So it's getting better and better with the way they was breeding on the top side right here. And then on the bottom, it just looks damn good with the Bully Son all over the place and the Eli as well. And then you see your Carver's Pistol, which is the father of Art's Missy. Boudreaux's T-Bell. You know, now this pedigree we're looking at is the Maverick dog. Let's go down to his offspring and see what they have up here. Let's go to the Reno dog. Let me see if they got any pictures of, let's go to the Reno dog. Boudreaux's Reno, 1-time winner, POR. Okay, he's off a daughter of the Maverick, bred back to Maverick. And let's go to the 4th generation, the very bottom of the 4th. Well, we got Carver's Arthur and Annie bred the Black Shine to get Boudreaux's Lupe. Lupe bred the Boudreaux's Scooter, which is coming down off Boudreaux's Bowls. And Boudreaux and Indian's Venus. Indian Sunny, I'm guessing, Venus bred the Bowls to get Scooter. They took Scooter, bred him to Lupe to get Boudreaux's Brandy. Bred that back to Maverick to get Minnie Mouse, which is a daughter of Maverick, bred back to Maverick. So these brothers really believed in daughter to father, son to mother. You know, they believed in that type of breeding. And see, regardless if I came up with two major dog camps. The first was Crossroad. The second was the Welcome All. All right. I learned a lot of stuff from Crossroad, but I learned a lot about breeding when it came to the Welcome All stuff. You know, and that's why I stay trying to stay close to my line of dogs that I'm working with. You know, not really. If I go out, I can go out, but still coming back in and coming back in and coming back in. You know, and if you don't know anything about what I always say, the new Welcome All stuff and the old Welcome All stuff is what Mellow Yellow and Fletcher's daddy and mother was. Hacksaw's coming down off of the new strain of Welcome All. When I say new, I mean the stuff that was more modern, your Buddy Dog and Ronda Rousey, where Mellow Yellow, their mother, Saber 2000, was coming down off of the old Welcome All dogs, which was Jocko and Yellow Girl. Jocko was coming down off Fletcher, and Fletcher off Yellow Little Giant. But at the end of the day, they all was coming down off of the same dogs, you know. So this is Boudreaux's Reno. Oh, let me check out a dog real quick. A brother want me to check this dog out. Let me check this dog out. One of the breedings that I made. Let me see if it's under Pelican Bay or Fleming's. Let me go up under Fletcher and go up under his offspring, and I'll be able to find it. Okay, let's see here. Let me go up under the offspring. I'm looking for the BG bitch. I'm not sure how I got it registered up here. Let me see. Oh, there she go. Brother wanted me to break the BG and talk about the BG, how she's bred and different things like that. Okay. She's coming down off Malcant's Backdoor Little Joe and Malcant's Shirley. Now that's Backdoor Little Joe. I told you BG was a true red nose at heart. That's her father, Buckskin Black Mass. Okay, he's coming down off Hunch Day. Hunch Day looks to be red nose from this picture right here. He looks to be red nose. Which he's coming down off Southern Kennels, Dolly, and Barracuda. All right. This is BG's father, Backdoor Little Joe. All right. This is BG's mother. Oh, let me try to pull it up again. Okay, now BG looked just like this dog. She don't look like the father Backdoor Little Joe at all. She looked just like this dog right here, Shirley. Now Shirley is off of Michael Myers and Sheryl Crow. Now, she looked just like Sheryl Crow. And see, this is where I tell you, you gotta look at these pictures and you can see where your genes and stuff come from. The bitch BG that I bred to Fletcher looks exactly like Shirley and Sheryl Crow, because Sheryl Crow and Shirley look exactly alike. All right. Now that look is coming from your buck dogs. Now, Sheryl Crow is coming down off ice cream and cocoa, the cocoa dog. There go your ice cream. Heard some good stuff about this ice cream dog. Ice cream and cocoa made Sheryl Crow. Now that's cocoa. She's off Jesse James Ride dog, Stone City's Jesse James Ride, and Stonewall Kennel's Princess Buck. As you can see, there's a red nose, right? Shirley was a red nose. Sheryl Crow was a red nose. Jesse James Ride is a red nose. But if you look at Jesse James Ride real good, he's one of them dogs that I was talking about. Buckskin red nose, but only thing different about him, he's a little more red than I'm talking about. With the stripes, with the brindle stripes in him. He's got the stripes like I'm talking about with the blind dogs, with what I was speaking about the blind dogs. He's more of like a red color with the stripes in him. Jesse James Ride, who is the son of champion 357, another red nose. See, this is straight red noses coming down 357 to Jesse James Ride to Cocoa to Sheryl Crow to Shirley to BG. So we only got one buckskin dog out of all these dogs that we looked at so far that's in BG pedigree. We got one, we got Backdoor Little Joe, and then we got Ice Cream that's got a black nose. You know, black nose dog and the ice cream dog. And the rest of these dogs is buckskin. But as far as the genetics and how the dogs look, BG look spitting image of this dog right here. Spitting image of that dog right there. So if she looked just like the two dogs I just called out for you, that means she's taking the look from your bottom side, your bolio side. Now let's go to Grand Champion Stone City's Awesome Buck. Now he's a brindle dog. He's a brindle dog. Let me see something real quick. He's brindle. So I'm guessing that's where Jesse James Rod get his brindle from. The Awesome Buck dog. Nope. Awesome Buck is not in Jesse James Rod. Awesome Buck daughter bred to Jesse James Rod to make cocoa. Stone City Kennels baby. Now I want to start this damn shit here again. Okay, we back to BG again. We back to BG. We talking about BG's pedigree. So you see Barracuda 2 times in her 3rd generation. And then you got your Damien on the bottom side of the 4th generation, which is the Lynch dog, who fathered Michael Myers. Then you got your Buck stuff coming through your Jesse James Rod. So let's look at the bloodline calculator for Fletcher and BG puppies. Okay. Clean outcross, 1.8%. Top COI contributor, Grand Champion Yellow. Shared ancestors, one shared ancestor with this breeding right here. They got one shared ancestor. Grand Champion Yellow. 22 times Grand Champion Yellow is their only shared ancestor. Ancestor overlap, as you're looking right here, it says ancestor overlap, one. One ancestor overlap. Grand Champion Yellow. 22 times. Now let's look up Fletcher and Mellow Yellow. Sixty percent on the COI gauge, 57 shared ancestors. In this breeding with Fletcher and Mellow Yellow, they got 57 shared ancestors. That says 10 times Crazy Eyes. 20 times Welcome All Saber. 14 times Big John. 18 times Grand Champion Yellow. 10 times Miss Kitty. 12 times Big John. $14 times Welcome All Saber. Okay, you got 57 ancestor overlap. 57 share. Grand Champion Yellow, 18. This is Big John's sister right here, Blondie. 4 times on her. Top contributor on the COI, Welcome All's Hacksaw. Let's go to 10 generations. When we go to 8th generation, we got 93 shared ancestors. 32% Grand Champion Yellow, 3.5% Jeep and Red Boy. 88 times Grand Champ, or 80 times Grand Champion Yellow. 80 times. All right. Just second. Just second. Okay. I had to check something out with my dogs real quick. I heard my dogs out there barking. Y'all hit that like button up out there, man. You know where you at. PBC on Pelican Bay's corner where I give it to you fair and unbiased, raw and uncut. You know, just checking out them bloodlines, man. Seeing what brothers can make their breedings at whenever they got certain dogs. It's saying 77% in the danger zone. All right. Now when we go to the tenth generation or 10th generation breakdown, that's where you got your 404 times yellow John. 404 times yellow John. You can see it right here in front of your face on the breakdown. That's what I was talking about the other night when I was trying to tell you about the yellow John breakdown in the pedigree calculator. 404 times yellow John, 112 times grand champion yellow, 156 shared ancestors in the 10th generation. You know. All right, let's go to some of my older dogs. Let's go to Pelican Bay's Nitro 2. Let's go to Buck. This the dog the police took from me right here. Now, this dog right here, let me give you a little info on him. Okay. Now, he was a hellified dog. He never had a tooth in him till he was over 2 years old. He never had a tooth in him till he was over 2 years old. Is when I put the first tooth in him for 5 minutes. I gave him 3 5 to 10 minute tests back to back. You know, when I say back to back, I mean within a 3 months time. I test him 5 minutes for 1 month. I brought him back out the next month, test him for 5 more minutes, and I brought him back out the next month, test him for 5 to 10 more minutes. 3 months back to back, 5 to 10 minutes. The first teeth he had in him after being over 2 years old. This dog right here. Now, the next time I took him out, I put him on a hard biting ass dog that got hold to his leg and wouldn't let it go. He gave the dog his leg for the first, I'm gonna say the first maybe 15 minutes. Gave the dog his leg. I don't know if he gave it to him, but the dog took his leg. I'm gonna say it like that. The dog took his leg and didn't give it back to him. He weathered that storm. The dog let his leg go, and Buck made him jump the box. It wasn't 5 minutes after he let that leg go that he jumped the box from this dog right here. And this dog was off Rattler and Santee. Let me see if his offspring pull up for the dog that they took from me. Okay. Now, this dog right here that y'all looking at, this pedigree, when the police took my dogs, they didn't know this dog here was pregnant because I had just bred that dog the same morning that they took the dogs. Same morning that they came to my house, I had just bred that dog earlier that morning. Pelican Bay's Buck, the Pelican Bay's Lucy 2, which was coming down off of the Diablo dog on the top side of the bottom, and Slut Jackson, which was a toe jam dog. And that stuff was bred to the Hicks Overdose and the Deep South Pit Showgirl. And it was a red boy dog on the bottom side, red boy Jocko all the way through. You know. So when this dog was bred that morning, they took the dogs. Now let me go to this other offspring real quick. See if that breeding pop up. Okay. This is when I bred Buck to C3, I used to call her. C3, cloning 3. Coming down off the Lightning dog. Now, this is a dog that I sold P. Nitty. Lightning. That's me holding the dog right there. On that picture right there, that's me holding the dog. You know, I sold him to Nitty, and Nitty bred him to get the dog that I was breeding, the Buck. You know, once I sold him to him, he bred it how he wanted to breed it back to the Cyclone stuff, the Walk'em Cyclone. But I took this dog out for one OTC. He did pretty good. Now I had nothing bad to say about this dog right here. This was a pretty good dog, and if I would have kept him long enough, I didn't keep him long enough. I probably got rid of this dog maybe a couple months after I got him. I didn't keep him long enough. But I got him directly from Walk'em. All my dogs I got directly from Walk'em. You know, I'm not gonna have to verify that every time I say it. But I got all my dogs directly from them. But when I bred that dog, when P bred that dog to that dog, which is Gangstress 2, he got the dog that I made the breeding with. Now, if you go back to my article when they locked me up, it's a dog that had a litter of puppies in the dog pound, probably 2 or 3 days later after they took the dog. She was swole up when they got her. You know, she was super swole when they took my dogs. So she had dogs in the dog pound, and they put it in the newspaper. Mother dog has puppies in dog pound after being seized from a dog fighting situation, is what the newspaper said. So these are the puppies that was in the dog pound. Right here. Straight red boy Jocko. Now, this dog right here, let me speak about this dog right here a little bit. This was P. Nitty's Wonder Woman. This is way back in the days. Wonder Woman was down off of, because I never really paid attention to Wonder Woman's pedigree, but I could tell you a story or two about Wonder Woman. She was coming down off STP's Buster Brown, STP Buck, Hargrove's Gus, the Andersons Tonka Bear, and Otter's Thelma Lou. This was one hard biting bitch right here. This was one hard biting bitch. And you may can't see it on her picture, but she's not all white. She's got like brown spots on her. She's got a brown over her eye right here, brown on her back. You know what I'm saying? This bitch right here was a hellified bitch. I'm not gonna lie to you. She was a hellified bitch. So that was the little bit of buck that this dog had in him, maybe I want to say buck and different stuff on the bottom side through right here. Everything in this whole dog pedigree and the puppies that I had in the dog pound, everything was walk them out except for this little bit at the very bottom. Of the 4th generation. And that's a breeding that I actually made myself right there. You know. That's buck stuck to C3. Now let's check out Little John pedigree. For the ones who haven't been, watching a lot of our videos as when we talked about these dogs. See how he's bred coming down off Walkmall's Ace and Walkmall's Saber. You go to the 4th generation of Little John, you see Jocko 1, Yellow John 1, Yellow John 2, Yellow John 3, Super Nance Boots 1. You see Jocko 2 times, Super Nance Boots 2 times. So in the 4th generation of Little John, you got Jocko twice, Yellow John 3 times, and Super Nance Boots 2 times of the Jocko dog. Of Little John dog, rather. Sorry about that. That's Little John pedigree right there. Now, I'm gonna stroll through my book and pick out a few more dogs to look up real quick. Dogs like let's look up Tupper's Hoot Nanny. Tupper's Hoot Nanny. Tupper's Hoot Nanny. Y'all get a good look at that picture there. Okay. Coming down off Ozark's Bandit. Let's just go to the 4th generation like I always like to do. See, if you don't recognize some of the dogs as being the 1st, 2nd, 3rd generation, sometimes going to the 4th, it always brings, most of the time it brings a lot of the dogs that you're used to seeing up sometime, So when I go to the 4th, I see the Crenshaw's oldest, which made Champion Jones's Bubba Rum. Oldest bred to Crenshaw's Rascal Jr. daughter. Ruby Red. Ruby Red was Rascal Jr. daughter, bred to Bubba. Now you got a son. You got a son of, which is Herman, a son of Midnight Cowboy, bred to a daughter of Zebo. Super Nance Boots. They got Super Nance Boots in them as well. In the 4th generation, bred to Jeep daughter. Super Nance Boots' son, Tance Poncho, bred to Garrett's Charlotte, which is Jeep's daughter. And then you got your red boy in there on the bottom side, of your Hicks Barney. Let's see what the Hicks Barney is coming down off of. That's your more rascal stuff. Your La Passe, Bully Son. Little Eli back there from your Bully Son. Okay, so we got your Rascal, Crenshaw's oldest, and Rascal on the top. Fourth generation, Midnight Cowboy will be your Eli. Fourth generation we looking at. Zebo, fourth generation. Jeep, Super Nance Boots. Red Boy. So we're going to say Red Boy Jocko, Jeep, Rascal. I'm calling out Hootenanny's bloodline. Red Boy Jocko, Jeep, Rascal, Zebo, Eli. And whatever you want to call Crenshaw's oldest. Crenshaw's oldest is the Gunner Dog. Coming down off the Gunner Dog, and Tudor's Jeff on the bottom side. So Hootenanny is a scatterbred dog. Let's look up Tupper's freebie. Tupper's freebie. We go to the fourth generation. Heard a lot of good things about that dog. Clayton's Tadpole. Clayton's Tadpole is coming down off of the Eli stuff and Carver's Pistol and Crenshaw's Reno. So that's your Rascal in the back right there. Trans Rascal. Not Crenshaw's Rascal, but Trans Rascal. Your Carver's Pistol. Your Eli. So we're in the fourth generation of freebie. And we starting at the very top dog, which was Clayton's Tadpole. Hathaway's Leela was bred to Tadpole. Now Leela was coming down off of your Eli. That's your Eli dog. Eli on the top, Eli on the bottom. Okay. Now that's Hathaway's Leela bred to Clayton's Tadpole. Now we got Rawlins Scrappy Doo. Rawlins Scrappy Doo. Eli. Grand Champion Art. Eli. That's another Eli dog. You know. All right. And like I said, we're looking up freebies. Tupper's freebies pedigree. Roblox Boss Man. Let's check out Roblox Boss Man. Now, I'm not real familiar with these dogs right here. Fitzwater, I see Fitzwater. Tudor's Spike, Tudor's Goldie. Fitzwater's Goldie. Hargrove's, well, that's Boss Man. Roblox Boss Man right there. Robertson's Working Girl. Carver's Midnight Cowboy. Eli Bully Son. Davis Chavo. Grand Champion Hands Candy. Boudreaux's Bowls. Boudreaux Slow Motion. So we see a lot of Eli in that. Let's tap on 8 cards. See what old Victor had before Mayday. That's an Eli. That's Eli with the Hall and Long Stumper in the fourth generation. Hall and Long Stumper in the fourth generation. And the Bully Son Jr., which you know is going to be your Mo Eli, and the Long's Tuffy as well. So this is a heavy Eli bitch, this bitch freebie. She's got a lot of Eli in her. I'll tell you that. Let me check out Moore's Outlaw. Grand Champion Hands, Happy Jack, Eli 3, that's your Eli, more Eli stuff. Let's see what this Happy Jack dog coming down off of. Eli, okay. So it's safe to say that Freebie is a heavy, heavy Eli dog. Not saying that she don't have nothing else in her but Eli, but she's a heavy Eli dog. You know, heavy Eli. Let's look up some of Freebie offspring, if they got any offspring from her. Chronics breeding. They bred Freebie to well, I thought Freebie was a female. Freebie's a male. They got Freebie bred to the boat action stuff, which is your Boyles, Jeep Boyles dog on the bottom side, bred to Freebie. That's the only breeding they got on this particular website right here. Okay. Let's look up Grand Champion Boogie Boy. Let's look up Grand Champion Boogie Boy. Bingo's Boogie Boy. Great dog there. Great dog. Now, I'm glad I looked this dog up because this is the first time since I started checking these pedigrees out over the past couple weeks that we ran into a heavy Hammonds dog, Hammonds bred dog. You know, and that's where he's coming down off the Rufus stuff on the 4th generation. We see nothing but Hammonds dogs. Let me see if I can pull up another pedigree that don't have any unknowns in it of Bingo's Boogie Boy. Maybe this one don't got no unknowns in the pedigree. Okay, yeah, this one good. We got Hammonds at the top. The bottom of the top is, I can't pronounce this, but it's a Rambo dog. That's the bottom of the top. And that's coming down off your Red Boy Jocko Jeep. Very bottom of the top of the 4th generation. 4th generation, where we at here, of Boogie Boy. We at the bottom of the top is where we at when I'm circling right here with my pointer. Red Boy Jocko Jeep is what Rambo is. The female that he bred to is Alligator. And we see the Maximilia dog in the very bottom. So a Red Boy Jocko Jeep dog bred to an Alligator dog with, I'm going to say a scatterbred dog. Red Boy Jocko Jeep dog bred to a scatterbred dog to get this dog right here, T. Now on the bottom side, we got Mr. Bulldog and Limey's Spike, which is a Hammonds dog. That dog is coming down off Alligator on the top, Bully Son Eli on the bottom. Along with Blind Billy. So Boogie Boy is a scatterbred dog himself. Hammonds Rosie. Then we go down on the 4th generation to the Ajax dog. Cummins, Eli, La Posse, Buster Rum. unknown in the pedigree a little bit. We go down to the Thordo. Nice looking dog. He look a little low in the front end though, but that could be the way he's standing. Could be the way he's standing. He's coming down off Snooty, and Snooty, with some boomerang in him. In the 4th generation, I see boomerang 2 times. Snooty is all over this pedigree of this dog right here. His name is Thor. See Snooty 2 times in the 3rd generation. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times in the 4th generation. We see Boomerang 2 times in the 4th generation. Arts Missy 2 times in the 4th generation. And Bloody Sunday, Carver's Bloody Sunday, we see 4 times in the 4th generation. That's Carver's Bloody Sunday. And if you look at her real good, look at her real good, she almost looked like she got an underbite. She almost looked like she may have an underbite. But she's licking her tongue out is what she's doing. I'm thinking she's licking her tongue out right there. And that bitch is coming down off Bully Son and Trans Rascal and Carver Dogs. Cannon's Black Shine in the 4th generation. She produced Abernathy's Molly, which is, so this bitch is Chinaman's grandmother. Let's go back to the 4th generation of Boogie Boy is what we're looking at. Boogie Boy. And I looked up Thor, now let me look up the dog Spanky, which will be the bottom side of the 4th generation, very bottom. More wood Snooty, more wood Snooty. Okay, okay. Boomerang, Boomerang. Okay. That's Boogie Boy. Now, Boogie Boy had several shows on the internet. Several shows Boogie Boy had on the internet. I want to say he had at least 3 of them up there that I saw on the foreign websites, over the past, I'm going to say 15 years. And that's Boogie Boy. Now let's look up some of these foreign dogs that y'all may not know about. Let's look up Alpha Kennel Silver Rum. Alpha Kennels. Silver Rum. When Silver was just a hot little 8-month-old pup, he was rolled for the first time. His opponent was 2.5 years old and more experienced, but Silver made him quit pretty quickly. 6 months later, Silver was rolled against Bulldog Kennels' Tony, who was a 2-time winner at that time. Silver showed in the fight that he was very intelligent, a defensive dog who knew how to save his strength to the end. He kept Tony away very successfully and controlled the fight. 1 month later, Silver was rolled again, going uphill 11 pounds. Now that's something to say there. All the other stuff, you know, we hear it all the time, but going uphill 11 pounds is something to talk about. But Silver made this dog quit with a head and ear holes. His last roll was versus the I'm gonna pronounce this the best I can. But Jenny boys, Pepsi. And it was a short one. It was short. Silver totally demolished the Pepsi dog. All right. See what Silver's bred like. Indian Bolio on the top of the 4th. The Handsome dog, as well as in the 4th. Abernathy's Molly. Country Boys. Vintage. See what this dog is coming down off of. More snooty. That's a snooty dog. They like that snooty stuff overseas. I see that. They like that snooty stuff. And this is Alpha Kennels Silver Rum. Okay, this dog here, champion Bros Hampson. Tell you a little quick story. He's the direct son of Indian Bolio, which we see right here. I'm reading from my book right now because I got pictures of him in the book of this dog right here, Hampson. He's a direct son of Indian Bolio. He, you know, as you see the pedigree, he is the Bolio Tombstone Bolio dog, line bred Tombstone Bolio dog. Now let's look up a dog I wanted to talk about real quick. Rebels Grand Champion Samson. I don't see the Samson dog popping up. I don't see him popping up. We go back to the dashboard and start over. Woods Connie. Let me check my dogs real quick. My dog's doing a lot of barking. Woods County, Joker and Woods County. You know, now this dog here, great breed bitch imported from the States by Joker from Serbia. So this dog was took to Serbia. Connie was sired by Gizmo out of a daughter of Crackerjack. She was bred several times and produced outstanding offspring. One of her most known offspring is Champion Luther, 3-time winner. They got an unknown on the bottom side. And these dogs we looking up now are some of the foreign dogs, some of your famous foreign dogs. Let me look up Jensen Spike. That ain't pop up. They got Spice. Wonder if they got the wrong dog. Let's see. Nah, that's a different dog there. That's a different dog. Different dog. Okay, this is a dog I'm gonna look up. Lori's Ambrose. That dog ain't come up either. Yeah, man, you know, I just want to touch on these pedigrees. And like I said, these dogs I've been looking up for the past 15 minutes. These are foreign dogs. Let's look up Red Pirate, man, because I always want to really, I've been hearing a few brothers talk about that dog, Joe's Red Pirate. He ain't up there. See, there's a lot of dogs that got to get put into this pedigree database, man. A lot of dogs. Let me just click on one of these dogs and hope Red Pirate is the daddy. Nope, that's Tupper's dog. The Tupper's dog sired that. Let's look up Kincaid's Rollo. Kincaid's Rollo. Great looking dog. Breeder Pat Patrick. Indian Bolio. So he's 75% Bolio at least, with a bottom, a little quarter of this stuff on the bottom right here. Bolio daughter bred back to Bolio. And the last dog of the day will be Clemens Brendy. Clemens Brendy, the last dog we're going to look up. That's Eli, Bowles, Scrub, Blind Billy. So that's a heavy Blind Billy bitch. Clemens Brendy. Heavy Blind Billy. You don't really see a whole lot of brothers with the Clemens dogs. I mean, I know they spread out across the country, But you don't hear brothers when they say, tell me to look up pedigrees and stuff. I get the Clemens dogs, Clemens. You know, you don't really see that. But I heard a couple people say that them Clemens Eli dogs is the shit. And I could believe that, especially if it's coming down off this Brandy dog right here. You know, because I done had stories about that Brandy dog. I got one more I'm going to look up real quick. That Earl Jr. dog. Because I know the Epinette run that Earl Jr. stuff. Garner's Earl Jr. I'm going to look it up. Garner's Earl Jr. That's the stuff that Epinette run real heavy. Chinaman bred Earl. Well, let's say Garner's Earl bred the Chinaman's daughter. So that's two half brothers and sisters, same daddy, different mamas, bred to each other. My old man Homer back there in the back on the third generation. Okay. So Epinette runs a lot of this Earl Jr. stuff. When you look at his pedigrees, Epinette this and Epinette that. Let's just hit the Epinette word. Epinette's Hillside Rat. Earl Jr. bred the Earl Jr. daughter. That's Hillside Rat. Epinette's Raging Cajun. Let's check that out. Now that's something different. Boudreaux Salesman. Coming off Boudreaux's Jack too. And Boudreaux's 8-ball daughter bred the Boudreaux's Kitty. Well, Boudreaux's 8-ball bred the Boudreaux's Kitty. Got Boudreaux's Kippy. And that bred the Boudreaux Salesman. Heavy Maverick dog. Your Eli stuff. That's your Eli stuff there. So he took the Eli stuff from Boudreaux and bred it back to the Eli stuff off of Garner stuff. Yeah. It's a nice one there. I don't know why it's saying I made too many requests in a short time. Let me click on this claim my pedigrees. No, I already know what that is. All right. Now this is Mellow Yellow and Fletcher's brother. Y'all remember I did the videos with him? Holding him up on the rag and all that. He was my favorite one off the litter at first. You know, I ended up busting a move with him though. But he was scratching and going into dogs, trying to hit dogs as a young puppy. I don't know what he turned out like, but as a young puppy, he was wanting to go hit. I know what I would have had him like if I was living in them days where I was trying to do something with him. I know he would have been like, but I don't know what he ended up turning out like. This is a little mate. This is the 5th dog. There's only 5 Walker Reds, or was 5. There's only 4 now. Fletcher, Mellow Yellow, Mango, and Molly, and this dog right here. I kept all the blind dogs and gave Walker all the red dog and Molly was like she was blind, but she wasn't this blind. It was only one red dog off that litter, and that was Mango. Yes, sir, man. I appreciate y'all rocking with me tonight. Like I always say, we checking these pedigrees out. If you got pedigrees you want me to check out or any bloodlines you want me to talk about, hit me up, man, on the messenger. Hit me up on the Instagram messenger, and we'll get to it, man. We'll get to it. Like I say, always say, I hope y'all had a great Memorial Day, having a great night, and not too full from the cookouts that y'all had. You know what I'm saying? And just feeling all right, man. Y'all stay safe out there. Y'all stay legal. You know where you at on the PBC, rocking with your boy Pelican Bay on Pelican Bay's corner. Y'all stay safe, and we out.